Wonder Woman, starring Linda Carter, and Incredible Hulk, starring Bill Bixby, will return at their regular times next Friday evening on most of these stations.
Hello and welcome to Geek History Lesson, episode 500. I'm Jason Inman.
I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson, and I'm going to do this until we hit 500 because I'm definitely counting. Welcome to your Mind University, because you have stumbled onto the podcast where we take one character, construct, or self-indulgent celebration from pop culture, teach you everything you need to know about it in about an hour. As a TV writer from Kansas and a Canadian comic book writer, I think we are uniquely qualified to talk about how great it is that we've hit 500 episodes.
Yes, and I'm sorry that we are preempting the 500th episode of The Incredible Hulk and the 500th episode of Wonder Woman. We want to apologize to CBS and ABC or NBC. I'm not certain which of the three broadcast networks in the 70s either of those shows were on. But, you know, some people might say that 500 episodes is too many, but we think it's just right. And the perfect way to celebrate the 500th episode of Geek History Lesson is to give you some fun facts and to give you some special guests, because we have, Ashley, tonight, we have a teacher joining us.
Wow.
We have a famous person in the entertainment business. They emailed me. They said, I am a famous person in the entertainment business. I am joining you. I said, what type of business? They said, you'll find out when I come on the live stream. And we have a trivia game that's coming up. Celebrities are here.
Wow.
Celebrities. It took 500 episodes, but we finally, Ashley, we have two celebrities in the podcast tonight.
Wow. Not everyone who's ever been a guest in the past. Some people who are actual celebrities being like, how very dare you?
They don't count. We are entering, Geek History Lesson is entering a 500th episode. We're in a new dynamic here. I don't know what dynamo means. But anyways, we have lots of your live questions coming, and Ashley has no idea who any of our guests or what's happening in this episode.
Intern Brego, who just walked under our chairs, is here.
Now, I have prepared, this will not be a Geek History Lesson to tell you geeky facts. I have prepared some very professional Sherlock Holmes fun facts, because, Ashley, why would I have prepared facts about Sherlock Holmes in relation to Geek History Lesson?
Well, if people are watching the content you're posting on social media, it might actually tell them why you're on the up and up with everything Sherlock Holmes. But specific for this episode, it is because our original pilot episode 0, which only the OGs will have heard because it's not in the feed anymore.
You cannot. If you scroll the 500 episodes, you will not find that episode.
It was our test episode, basically to see if we could fill about 15 or 20 minutes together, and we did Sherlock Holmes fun facts, and it was mostly just me ranting about Benedict Cumberbatch. Let's be honest.
Fun fact: the episode was actually called, I looked this up today, 5 Fun Facts of Sherlock Season 3.
And then we watched Season 3 and we're like, these facts are not fun.
Yeah,
this is not fun. I am not having a good time.
If you go back through the feed, episode 1 is actually RoboCop, which I'm very happy about. It's a very Jason thing. But
it's a very Jason thing.
Geek History Lesson first released an episode in February of 2014, 10 years ago. So we're celebrating the 500th episode and the 10-year anniversary. And I just want to say, if you are going to listen to the audio of this live stream they're recording right now is actually going to be in the podcast feed very soon. I don't know when. And if you listen to the audio feed of that, at the very end of this audio live stream, I will put our original episode in there. So you'll get to hear the newest Geek History Lesson and the oldest.
Geek History.
So, let's start off with some very professional
Sherlock fun facts.
Sherlock fun facts. Did you know, Ashley, that Sherlock was called Sharon Ford originally?
Yes, I did.
Did you know, fact number 2, that John Watson was nearly called Ormond Stacker?
Yes, I did.
Ashley, I'm sorry. We're here at episode 500 of Geek History Lesson. And, we could go down these Sherlock fun facts. That's what the people expect from us. They expect history, geek, and lessons. But I'm just not feeling it tonight.
Okay.
You're
in charge. You can do whatever you want.
I'm really not. A lot of it is because, I know these look very professional, but they're also, they're fake. There's nothing here. And so there's nothing on my papers. So you know what? We are changing the paradigm here. because we are not doing a geek history lesson about anything Sherlock Holmes. We are not doing a geek history lesson about
But I know so much about Sherlock Holmes.
Too bad!
So I know so much about Sherlock Holmes.
We are going to do a Sherlock Holmes.
A Sherlock... take two.
We are going to do a John Watson. Damn it. Okay, I'll
Take
three.
three.
We are going to do a geek history lesson. Okay, I got that. Nailed it. That celebrates 10 years of podcasting. So, in some ways, this might be the geek history lesson on Geek History Lesson.
You're welcome.
Not really, but sort of. Yeah, we're stretching the bit a little bit. It's been highly requested there.
Yeah.
You know, and I just want to say we've had lots of listeners over the years.
Sure.
I don't know if any of those listeners have been celebrities. If they have, wow.
A fun fact, we know one of them is a celebrity because when we met him, we were like, that guy's famous and we like him on TV. And he said, I like your podcast. And I said, oh, no.
Why don't you name drop this person?
Hi, Ryan Sands.
Ryan Sands from Runaways told us that he listened to the show.
A bunch of other things.
Well, unfortunately, Ryan could not join us tonight. He sent me this email, and it said, congratulations, you're both beautiful people. That's what he wrote. Anyways, no, we have a very special message that was created and made through the powers of our listeners. Some very astounding listeners of ours gave us a gift. Now, I have only seen a couple of seconds of this.
I've seen none of it.
Actually seen none of it, but I had to watch it to make sure the file worked. But we have a video message here from a very special someone from our listeners. And so I'm going to play this for the very first time on air here. So hold on just 1 second, everybody.
Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I Jason? Ashley? Hey, how are you guys? Yeah, no, shh, Jason, don't answer me, I can't hear you. I can't see you either, obviously, because this is a video. But hopefully you can see and hear me. I am Brent Spiner. I, of course, played Data on Star Trek The Next Generation. Okay, guys. I know what you're thinking. I don't look a lot like him with this white hair, but let me tell you something. If I was to color my hair right now, darken it, dye it, well, I think you'd see I have not changed a day since 1987 when we first started doing the show. Yeah, it's crazy. I know. It's, I don't know, what is it? What is it, guys? Is it a miracle? Perhaps. Anyway, enough about me. Well, I just want to congratulate you both on your 500th episode and 10 years of a podcast. And I don't know how you've done this, and I've never heard of it before. Anyway, that's not important. This video is being sent to you, compliments of friends and fans, it says. The Discord patrons. I'm sure that, whoever they are, I'm sure they just worship you, clearly, or they wouldn't waste their money on this. Wait, what did I say? No, not waste. No, sorry. They wouldn't spend their money on or invest their money, actually, on this priceless gift. I hope you'll both treasure it. I'm certain you will. Anyway, what does it say? It says that you're both Star Trek fans. Thank you very much. And you even had a fan series called The Red Shirt Diaries. I don't know how I missed that one too. Anyway, Patrick Stewart is here with me. Patrick, you want to congratulate Ashley and Jason? Just say congratulations to them.
No.
Okay, well, he doesn't really care. So, listen, let's see. The name of their podcast is Geek History Lesson. You brought them both success. It brought you both success as writers. Well, that's fantastic. And again, congratulations on your 500th podcast, although I think your Discord patrons counted wrong. I believe it's 527, isn't it? Anyway, congratulations. Keep going, guys. Another 10 years, that'd be 1,000. And anyway, all the best to you. Congratulations.
Commander Data.
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes himself.
Sherlock Holmes.
Called in. So that was, first of all, thank you. Thank you so much. I got a partial or full list here. This was some of our amazing listeners. Tom Trainer, Diego Anthony Nunez, Jake Hefner, Meredith, Terrence Wan, Ollie J, Russ Walker, Ramon, Mad-Eye Moody, Jesse, Tambeck, Cody Bond, 3144, Scald's Tale, Christopher Rondo, Brian, Adam Gunther, are just some of the few people that we want to give our biggest thanks. Because they're a bunch of the people. We have this really cool group over at the Discord, which you can get access at patreon.com/Jawan. And one of the best things about running this Patreon is that we've been able to make so many super friends, and all the people we named have truly become real friends. They're welcome to stay at our apartment at any time for a small, tiny fee. And it was just fantastic. That was amazing. That might be the best cameo I've ever seen.
That's honestly the best cameo, the longest cameo I've ever. Can you believe Patrick Stewart too?
Patrick Stewart. I told you we had celebrities on episode 500 of Geek History Lesson. It was just quite. We got two celebrities so far.
For the price of one.
Three, actually. Listen, maybe, but two celebrities are here. That was just fantastic. And I did say that is the best cameo that I've ever seen until now. Because, Ashley, I have a special something out here because, I know that these 500 episodes have been long.
Sure.
It's been 10 years.
Yeah.
It's been a long road to get from
there to here.
Mm-hmm. And I wanted to reach out to somebody. I reached out. I was like, there's got to be a celebrity out there.
Any celebrity.
Who,
just a celebrity.
Who definitely hasn't heard of Geek History Lesson like Brent Spiner, who
dedicated listener Brent Spiner,
who also is a podcaster, and I asked them to give you a very special congratulations for putting up with me and for podcasting for this long. So Ashley, I told you we had celebrities on episode 500. Well, we've had two: Patrick Stewart, Brent Spiner. Now you're all gonna see a special message from celebrity number 3.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
Ashley, I hear you have one of the great podcasts in all this world. I hear this from Jason, because I hear you guys have had a podcast that you've released 500 episodes over 10 years. Congratulations. That's great news. I hope it goes on for another 10 years. And then 10 years after that. And then 10 years after that. I hope you guys are having fun with it. If Jason's telling me the truth, and I don't know if he is, he says Pippin's your favourite Hobbit. Which is great, because it's me. It's Billy Boyd. Pippin took. And I just wanted to say congratulations on that amazing feat of 500 episodes. That's brilliant, Ashley. I'm going to go and check out your podcast right now. Actually, I'm going to head to bed and I'm going to listen to one or two. Anyway, Jason says congratulations on all your hard work. And I hope it goes on for many, many years to come. And please, as a congratulations, make sure that Jason cooks you a lovely second breakfast. You know what I mean? 500 episodes. I think you're due at least some mushrooms and crispy bacon and toast and fried potatoes and sausages, and I hear the salted pork is particularly good. Have a great time, guys. I hope it goes on forever. Lots of love, Ashley, from Jason, of course, and also from a fool of a took. All the best. Bye-bye.
Go!
I'm sweating.
Pippin Took! I told you we had celebrities on episode. Maybe that's what the episode should be called. Celebrities.
Just celebrities.
Lesson on celebrities. The whole episode is nothing but celebrities. So there you go. That's a very special message for me putting up with all the.
For you putting up with me.
Well,
you gave me a gift.
For you putting up with me putting up with you.
Here's a fun fact: Jason's on cameo.
I am actually.
Hire Jason for all your podcasting needs.
I think
when you hit 500.
I usually do one a year. Is what it tends to be.
But you are on Cameo.
I am on Cameo. Yeah. So that's Ashley's she does so many amazing Lord of the Rings episodes. But Ashley, I wanted to tell really quickly the origin of Geek History Lesson because I actually looked in our podcast feed to give some fun facts. This is episode 500. Actually, if you look at the Apple Podcast feed, it claims that we have 530 actual episodes. So we've been bending the numbers here and there, bending the numbers. Do you want to make a guess on what our most listened episode of all time is?
A Batman.
Actually, incorrect. It's the Flash Barry Allen episode 228 in September 17th. Of 2018.
That's horrifying because I'm on my worst behavior for the entire episode. That actually makes sense, but I'm shocked it's not a bad.
It is. I had a lot of fun, but that's all.
I'm Barry Allen.
So I have a long list here of more Apple statistics and things like that. But when we first thought about making this podcast. I had done a podcast called Box Office Booze, which is no longer on the internet, which is about two friends drinking and everything like that. And when Ashley and I first met, I said, hey, we should do a podcast together. We should, figure out some sort of thing. And we were kicking around a lot of ideas. And originally we were going to call it The Weekly Planet. No lie. We were literally going to call it The Weekly Planet. And then we found out that other podcast, and there's a great podcast as well. And Ashley, do you want to give anybody's, what do you remember from year one of Geek History Lesson?
Sweating. Like I'm doing right now. Recording in a closet, that's a big memory. I used to handwrite my notes.
Oh, yeah?
I found the notebook that I used it for maybe the first 10, and then I was like, I simply cannot do this. This is not working. And then I started typing my notes like a grown-up person. I also remember vividly you being like, you have to fill silence. You can't let them be silent.
I do also remember one time we were recording some early episode in the first episode, and first year, and I remember I asked you some question, and I think your answer was yes.
Yeah.
And then there was silence, and I was like, you have to tell us why.
Which honestly, you do that for comedy, and every time you do that, it makes me angry. I remember recording the Catwoman episode specifically and having a really bad cold and having to stop to cough and sneeze. And so it took a very, very long time to record that. I also remember the idea for the podcast came because we were laughing about how crappy it would be to be Robin because Batman would make you take poison.
He would make you learn the smell of arson.
And
which would be terrible.
Just laughing our heads off and being like, we should have a podcast where geniuses.
Yep. Fun fact, other fun GHL facts. We also I want to say, you might think we also do these Doctor Strange holiday specials where we, there are various characters and they take over the podcast. And I actually thought that was a more recent thing because we've done like 6 of them. I went back to the first year. We actually did a holiday special.
It was the
very first
Detective
year.
Comics, yeah.
It was where we read an issue of a comic book and we did that. So the holiday specials have always existed all 10 years, which I think is very interesting. I also think I missed a bunch of my notes, but that's fine. Okay. So we do have a celebrity in the wings, but I'm going to say this live on the air. I forgot that we have another message from another celebrity. So we're going to play that first, and then we're going to apologize to our second celebrity really quick. But there's when we were creating our podcast and what we thought our podcast should be, we kind of looked at a lot of other podcasts that we enjoyed. And our celebrity, who's in the wings, who we have to put pause, is one of those podcasts. But we also have a video message from another podcaster that we took a lot of inspiration from. and I asked them to record a special message for you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Scott Johnson.
And I'm Brian Ibbett.
And we're from the morning stream, damn it. And we're so excited to be here for your 500th episode. And we know that Ashley's been, working real hard. 500's no small feat, Brian. We've done that a few times, a few shows.
We've done that a few times over.
I get it.
See what I did there? Yeah, no, we, so many podcasts don't even make it to 50, let alone 500. And for you guys to make it to that amazing milestone, that's a huge milestone.
Yeah, it's gigantic.
It's no small feat.
That's right. You're half of 1,000. You're a third of 1,500. I could go on. I could just keep doing the math. But
educating people on the differences between Quicksilver and the Flash, for example, or Guardian from the Starjammers and Superman. How are they different? How are they the same?
Why do we have two Captain Marvels spread across two universes? How does that work?
3 even, really, if you count the Kree dude. What's his face?
Holy shit.
The Starlin Captain Marvel.
Forgot all about him.
Yeah.
But we heard through a little birdie though too. That this is not only your 500th episode, but that this show may have been, in part, not entirely, but maybe a little bit inspired by what we do here on the morning stream. And I got to say, it makes me very happy to hear that. It's very sweet. Yeah.
It's a huge honor. Yeah. Thank you. And coming from your Star Trek dad over there, and I was like just an angry general that had to do 11 takes to finally get my the voice right.
Yeah.
I can't even remember like my lines. I'm sure I know I've got them in an email or somewhere, but
sure.
I'm an evil Romulan and I did this voice. And no, it's too much, Brian. Dial it back. Okay, I'm an evil Romulan and I'm doing this. No, a little more, Brian. All right, I'm an evil Romulan and I'm doing this voice.
You got robbed that year in the Emmys, by the way. I really felt like
I did. I totally did.
There was a real chance there. But as your space dad and as your evil
Kelsey Grammer.
That's right, damn you. As your space dad and as your angry Romulan general, we wish you guys a happy 500th and keep going. Just keep at it. We got your back over here. And if you ever want to come on and say hi to the audience, we're happy to have you. And anytime you guys need us, you let us know, right, Brian?
We'll talk about Armor Wars, the great upcoming. Oh shoot! Okay, we'll talk about something.
Yeah,
obviously.
Don't worry, there'll be something there. So best of luck, congratulations once again. And from the morning stream and all of its listeners, bye.
I told you this is the geek history lesson of celebrities, and I did not plan that. It's weird. We had so many celebrity guests, but Scott Johnson and Brian Ibbett of the Morning Stream and Coverville. The Morning Stream was a big inspiration for geek history lesson.
Two fun facts, really quick.
Okay,
whenever I talk to Scott, I still call him my space dad.
Mm-hmm. We should reference that as a reference from our web series, The Red Shirt Diaries, where Scott Johnson played Ashley's dad and then Brian Ibbett played a Romulan commander who kept calling into the Enterprise, and Ashley kept picking up the phone.
Yeah. And then second fun fact, as we were developing Geek History Lesson, there was a point where Jason and I worked at Loot Crate. We used to pack the loot crates if you were ever on that train, and we would listen to the morning stream a lot while we were doing that.
That's right.
Some of my fun facts.
Another inspiration that we took from the morning stream is we keep our celebrity waiting in the wing. This is the episode that is about celebrities. This is the episode about making celebrities wait, because that's how we roll here. Those celebrities, they get too much. They get a little bit too much, right? We should make them wait. We're going to make them wait. Sorry, celebrity. Something that we picked up from our celebrity guest and the morning stream is how to do merch. I'll tell you that. Ashley, why don't you, we have a special piece of merchandise that celebrates the 500th episode of Geek History Lesson, and this is a fancy 11 by 17 500th episode poster. Look at that baby right there. That is right. 10 years. 500 episodes. This is Brian Lopez, and you can find it at jasoninman.com/store. It'll only be available for like the next month or so, and you can buy this, exactly as it seems, or you can buy this besmirched, amazing image autographed by Ashley and myself. We're only going to do like 100 of them, so they're super, super limited, but it's a cool image inspired by X-Men Days of Future Past, and if you look at the wanted poster, there's lots of secret cameos and people right there. Like, right there, there's Tex. That's Tex Willerman, famous Geek History Lesson character Tex Willerman, and Kurt Wagner, the Incredible White Crawler. You're not going to
Incredible White Crawler?
The Incredible White Crawler.
German.
But this is an astounding poster. You can get it at jasoninman.com/store for about the next month. And once you do, they're gone. They're going to be gone.
because we're not printing anymore.
We're not printing anymore. Unlike celebrities, we don't have warehouse space.
Brago.
So there you go. Even Brago's on there. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
a. You can put that down. Actually, you can save your arms right there if you want. I have a little bit of a closer image of it somewhere in StreamYard, but I cannot find it. Oh, there it is. Right
There she is.
Is it right there? Show? Nope. I got to remove ourselves. Nope, that doesn't work. StreamYard's not working. Sorry, everybody. But you know what is working? Celebrity guests. And we have a celebrity guest here at our 500th episode. We've had 17 celebrity guests so far. How many have we had? 5? 4?
5. We got a twofer on TMS.
Brent.
4. We've had we have
Brent
5.
Spiner, Patrick Stewart, Billy Boyd, Scott Johnson, Brian Ibbett. Now we have a celebrity of podcasting. He's also a teacher. He's an amazing podcaster. He's an amazing author. He's a scientist, I think. He takes pictures of space that I don't even understand, so I'm calling him a scientist. He is the wonderful Steven Schleicher of the Major Spoilers Podcast. Steven, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, not a problem. Congratulations on 500 episodes.
Thank you very much, sir. You blaze past that number.
I know another podcaster who puts our numbers to absolute shame.
I think we just recorded episode 1075 of the Major Spoilers Podcast. Munchkin Land went up to 700. Critical Hit is into the 700 somewhere around there. So, yeah.
Seems like I've been at 500. That's so cute.
Yes, he's blazing fast. Well, there was a long time where the Major Spoilers Podcast, which is it did 2 episodes a week, and I really wanted to bring you on this, Steven, because right after college, I was a paint delivery man in Tulsa, Oklahoma, for a bunch of car dealerships, and I was driving all over. I was driving to Muskogee, Oklahoma, and a bunch of other towns, Tahlequah. Everybody in Oklahoma is going crazy right now. And Sapulpa. How many more references can I? Bristow. I keep going. Broken Arrow, all those places. And I was looking for a podcast to, for a geeky young person like myself to enjoy. And I came across the Major Spoilers Podcast. And it was amazing, too, because you guys did 2 episodes a week way back in the day. So I would get double the Major Spoilers. So I wanted to ask you, Steven, because in my research, I found that you began your podcast in July of 2006. Is the internet correct?
No, that's when Majorspoilers.com started, was July 2006. I first started podcasting a year earlier in 2005, where my friend Charlie White and I used to do a show called The Coolness Roundup, which was talking about technology and explaining it in a way that your grandmother could understand. And so that got really popular because there weren't that many tech shows back in 2005. And then unfortunately we were locked into a exclusivity agreement with the company that we were with. And so any other podcast that we created, they would also own. And I was like, well, I'm doing Majorspoilers.com. I would love to do a podcast about it, but I'm waiting till our contract expires with this other company. And as soon as it did, we were like, see ya. And then that's when we launched the Major Spoilers Podcast in 2008.
Wow.
So yeah.
You're closing in on 20 here very soon.
Yeah. Thanks.
Is that an insult?
Thanks
No!
Did I insult the celebrity?
Okay, wait. I can give you a
All the
fun
gray
fact.
hairs.
The Major Spoilers Podcast was the first podcast that Jason ever recommended to me because I had just gotten into listening to podcasts, and we had known each other for about 6 days, and he said, you have to listen to Major Spoilers.
Well, interesting fact. Jason was doing some videos online.
Oh, yeah.
And he had reached out to me a couple of times and was like, hey, can you promote the video on your website? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then after a while, I was like, your stuff is really good. Would you, and you really love comics. How about you come on and write for Major Spoilers? And so Jason started writing for us, and then he started doing videos for us. And then you started appearing in a bunch of the videos. And I was like, who is this Ashley Victoria Robinson? She's got a lot of talent. She's very, very talented. She's super knowledgeable. Would she want to maybe also write for Major Spoilers and be on our podcast and everything? And he was like, yeah, let's introduce you. And so that's how Ashley, came into the Major Spoilers greater family.
Steven and Major Spoilers was my first job in these United States that was not literally retail.
I also want to say that it was very funny because for a very long time I did these weekly comic book review videos, and which Major Spoilers so gladly sponsored. And I know I did them for 2 years, and part of the reason I did it is because I was like, oh, well, this is a paid video. I gotta do it. I have to do it. And fun fact, those videos are the thing that DC Comics later told me when they hired me at DC All Access. They were like, well, part of the reason we hired you is because we we saw that you had 2 years of like these comic book videos that you were in and stuff like that.
And I was only allowed to come over on Wednesday nights if I didn't distract from those videos being made.
Because I always had to go out on Thursday. Yeah. So Stephen, I wanted to ask you, like, what, you're a celebrity podcaster.
I guess,
and,
whatever.
It's all we're, like what back in, I forgot the almost 20 years ago that we don't mention. Okay.
Yeah.
What inspired you to start a podcast? Because even back then, that would have been pretty new.
Yeah.
That would have been, people probably wouldn't even have known what a podcast was at that time. Like, how hard was it to explain a podcast?
My mom
back
still
in
doesn't know what a
2005?
podcast
Oh,
is.
yeah. No, people just, even when we were on Sirius XM with the Coolness Roundup, people still were like, oh, we can listen to this not on a radio station? How do we get a hold of this? People, we'd go to CES and people didn't understand what a podcast was. So, Major Spoilers started because I was looking at all the other sites that were out there, and there were some very good sites out there, but they were just seemed to be lacking something personal, something, I don't know, more honest, I thought. And so I was like, well, I just want to do that with Major Spoilers. And then I'd been doing that for a year or so, and then I was working on a PBS show, and Rodrigo Lopez and my friend Brian, that we refer to now as Scroll Brian, this is really bad to say, but the executive producer of this PBS show was really not a nice person.
Okay.
And he was kind of fill in the word. He was a blank.
Mm-hmm.
And we discovered that if we were talking about nerd stuff, when he walked into the control room, he would stand around for like 10 seconds, hear what we were talking about, and turn around and leave. So we kind of were like, oh, we're going to use this as our shield against him coming in and just being, fill in the blank. And then after about a couple of weeks of this, I was like, we should really start recording this because this is very interesting. This is, very conversational, things that I think people would like to listen to. And because I'd already gotten a couple of years of podcasting under my belt, I was like, well, let's just launch this thing and see what happens. So that's kind of how the show got started.
And
I love that Major Spoilers is literally your superpower. I didn't know that.
and you're still
chasing executive producers away since 2000.
I mean, honestly, a real skill set.
That actually would be a pretty funny tagline. A new question that we've started asking in a future episode that has not been released on the main feed is we like to ask people now if because you have a lot of great knowledge about like video editing even and photography, all kinds of things that are nerd related. And if you're watching the live stream right now, it looks like ukuleles as well. Or is that ukuleles?
Oh, yeah, no, those
here?
are ukuleles in the background.
Can you play?
I haven't in quite a long time. So please don't put me on the spot.
Okay, all right.
Myself further.
But my question is like if somebody came to you and said, okay, you have to teach a 30-minute geek history lesson on any subject,
man,
what would it be?
There are so many, right?
Okay.
So many. But I think the one that I could probably just impromptu off the top of my head run for 30 minutes straight is Back to the Future.
Oh.
I could just go off on Back to the Future and time travel and talking about, even though there's really technically only one Back to the Future movie, I could talk about those other things that came out related to that and really talk to you about why does the story work? Why doesn't it work? What are the little things that are hidden throughout the movie that only make sense later on? That would be a fun one to do. And then the other one that I think I could probably do pretty easily is about maybe 8 years ago. I was talking with Alex Segura, who was at Archie Comics at the time. He's now writing the Dick Tracy comic book. We were talking about detectives, and he's like, oh, you should, you're a fan of Lou Archer, right? I'm like, I have no idea who Lou Archer is. And he's like, no, you really seriously need to stop what you're doing, and you need to read Lou Archer right now. He's this guy, he would be up there with the great writers, Ross McDonald, up there with the great writers of detectives. And I started reading all of the books. There's like 15 of them. And I just blew through them. They were so great. And I've reread them and looked at Ross McDonald, looked at everything I can find on Lou Archer. I could sit down if people wanted me to do a pop culture detective show. I could easily spend 30 minutes geeking out about Lou Archer, the detective.
I think
I think people want this.
I think
Steven.
I was like, I
think we want this.
Can we do a pop culture detectives episode later this year and have you be our person? Just take us down and
sure.
Stephen, also, by the way, our most returned Geek History Lesson guest. Yes, because you never tell us no.
Yeah.
Because every time we say, do you want to come and talk about specific thing, you're always like,
I will say,
sure, yes.
I will say
do that.
I will say full transparency as well. Every time we pick a subject for Geek History Lesson that we are like, oh man, this is going to be a real difficult one to get a guess. We're always like, well, Steven would be great.
You know why? It's because I enjoy hanging out with you. Ashley and I have hung out a lot over the years, different shows, different podcasts, live streams, etc. But I don't get to hang out with Jason that much.
Yeah,
you know, he's a big time guy.
Big fancy Hollywood writer.
He really
stuck.
is.
I'm just stuck.
I want to like slip him. Hey, look, I've got this little thing that you could read and pass on up the chain. But that's why I like hanging out with you guys. You guys are so much fun. You're so knowledgeable. You have great chemistry together, and I think that's what makes Geek History Lesson work so well.
Oh, go on.
No, I will.
We learned it from you.
Yeah, no, you guys this has been 500 episodes have been really great. I always take the time to listen every time a new episode is out, and because I kind of have access to your secret feed, I know what's coming up, and I can sometimes listen to episodes before other people do, and so it's really fun to hear you drop all the knowledge that you do, and the fun and the humor as well, each and every week, and so I really look forward to every single episode. So 500, you guys need a big round of applause.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks for never emailing and being like, this is a stinker, and letting us figure that out from the analytics.
Steven, I will say to you, if anybody, this will be a great geeky suggestion anybody's listening, and also to an old episode of yours. One of my favorite episodes of yours ever is the first time you guys, and I think it might have been like year one, ever covered the comic book Atomic Robo.
Oh yeah.
Because
that's
you
like
guys are the
comic.
you guys are the only reason I know that comic book exists. And by the way, if you've never heard of Atomic Robo, go find them right now. They are killing it on Patreon. They have hardcovers. They're murdering on Kickstarter left and right. But it's just simply the story of a robot, an adventurous, like sort of Indiana Jones type robot that was built by Nikolai Tesla.
Yeah, and he goes through all sorts of adventures through space time. It really touches on everything kind of geeky that I like, from time traveling westerns to kaijus from outer space and so much more. It's a fun series. I'm glad I discovered. That's one of the nice things that I like, is that we're able to go in and find a lot of really indie comics. And at the time, Atomic Robo and Red 5 Comics, when it first launched, was like one of the smallest publishers we were dealing with. And then we were the only ones talking about it. And then people were like, oh, I guess I'll go check this out. And people really found have found a lot of love with Atomic Robo, so much that I got interviewed by the BBC for whatever reason one time. And they're like, so what's like the hottest comic to read right now? And I was like, oh, without a doubt, Atomic Robo. And they're like, they were like, I was expecting you to say Superman or Batman. I'm like, oh no, go check out Atomic Robo. And that was the last time I was ever on the BBC.
Hey, we've never been on the BBC, so and as a Commonwealth citizen, I'm offended.
I love that the BBC was just like, don't put on this dork that talks about robots. Don't put on this yank that talks about robots.
They were like, Americans only like Superman.
Steven, I could just keep saying,
whatever.
Yeah, go on. You got to fill that space with something.
Yeah, you can't be silent.
No, don't be silent.
What we've learned in 500 years of podcasting, you have to build silence.
Don't be silent. But Steven, let's talk about what is something that is out there in the geeky space. It doesn't even have to be comic books. Doesn't have to be pop culture, anything like that. What is something out there in the geeky space that is really intriguing you, really exciting you, that you're getting a lot of enjoyment from right now?
Honestly, some of the weirdest things that I will dive into are topics that people don't even think about, and I think over the next couple of years you'll see more of this become part of the culture, is podcasters as characters in other media. So like within the last couple of years, there have been an independent movie about a podcaster, true crime podcaster, going to Texas and solving a murder. There's Bodkin, which is just now on Netflix, which is a 7-episode about a podcaster. And then there's another one that
there's the kid in Ghostbusters who's called Ghost.
His name is Podcast.
Right. That kid's name's
the little
Podcast.
Kid,
right.
yeah.
I mean, he's not the central tenet of the show, but I think we're going to see these the podcasts kind of become a central focus point for the story that's being told.
Brian Tyree Henry's character in the Monsterverse in the Godzilla American movies is a podcaster as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's funny. It always takes Hollywood about 10 to 15 years to like get around to what's out there, because I can remember specifically, and I've mentioned this so many times on the podcast, that when I saw Daniel Craig's Casino Royale and James Bond sent a text I immediately was like, oh my God, James Bond text now. What?
From Sony Ericsson, everybody's favorite cell phone.
I believe it was a flip. He slid it up. And he was like,
Flip phone or something. Yeah.
and it even had to do the thing where like he wrote ellipsis and he had to go like 222
Yes,
445 66, which all
It was 2006, okay?
every Gen Zer has.
Well, I
has
need
something.
a Star Trek episode where there's a podcaster that they've unfrozen or taken out of a stasis tube, and all he wants to do is go around and talk about the future to people that can't even listen because they're dead.
It's the Ghost Pod, the Ghost
there you go.
podcast.
There you go.
That is out there.
I can memorize lines.
Oh man, Stephen. The other thing, I one last question for you before we kick you away, or you can stay. We have more celebrities coming.
Oh
so,
yeah, there's a big lineup. I know that they're all there.
Yes,
I don't want to eat into their time.
I think we only have one more celebrity coming. Well, two. We have two celebrities. We have a YouTube celebrity and then a celebrity that said that they work in the entertainment business. I'm not quite certain who this is, but could be Patrick Stewart. We had him on earlier. Maybe he finally changed his mind. Stephen, you also, I love on the Major Spoilers podcast, you're a bit of a futurist.
Yeah.
And you said, we've seen more characters that are podcasters in movies. Where do you see podcasting or this genre going in the next 5 years? Besides being in movies more.
Yeah, so we're going to see it be in more movies, but the it's maybe, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here on your show, but I think we're going to see I think we're going to see a lot of small podcasters kind of drift away latch onto something that's the new thing, whatever that is. So I think we're going to have a lot of mid-tier and a lot of major corporations controlling podcasts. So Geek History Lesson, Major Spoilers podcast, The Morning Stream.
We're dead.
We're done. No.
This is it.
We'll be the ones that'll be chugging along because we've got that little engine that could attitude, right? But I think we're going to just see a lot of people just go, I don't know why I'm doing this anymore. There's no money in it. And I think all three of us know that there's never been money in podcasting. No. We do this because we love it. So, so it's going to be those people that really, really have a passion for podcasting that are going to be able to stick around over the next 10 years or so. And I think, and then it's just going to be the big corporate podcasters as well. That's not saying that if there's somebody out there who's listening right now that wants to start a podcast, you really should, because I got to talk to a bunch of high schoolers last month. They came by to the university that I teach at, and I was talking to them about podcasting and why they should get into it. And they were all excited about doing something. So don't give up. I mean, none of us had an audience when we started our podcast.
No,
so we got our audience from Steven. Literally, that's not a joke.
I do think we advertised on Major Spoilers.
We also sent an email and said we want to start a podcast. Would you consider hosting it on Major Spoilers? And Steve said if you make 4 episodes and they're of enough quality, I'll consider it. And then we very generously helped us get up to the quality.
Yeah, we even still put you in our master feed. So I would say don't give up, but I really see that there's going to be a lot of disillusioned people who are moving away from podcasts, maybe doing more into YouTube videos or Twitch streams, but the audio medium of podcasts, I think, is going to take a very different turn in the next couple of years.
Nice. Well, Stephen.
Well, I mean, for us it is, but maybe for other people.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to be upbeat on this. The robots are going to win anyways.
No, they're not. We'll fight them back.
The only people that are going to survive this are robots and celebrities. As we know, Stephen, you are a celebrity. And Stephen, thank you so much for being the inspiration.
No problem.
Thank you for all the support over the years and all the kind words. You're
also, just because this has been a running trend, thanks for being on the Red Shirt Diary.
Yeah, no problem. I got to play a Telosian. I got that.
Yeah. You were a Telosian of Talos 4. I pitched your voice way up high with a bunch of audio filters.
Ooh, yes.
But Stephen, in case anybody out there doesn't know the amazing MajorSpoilers.com and the Major Spoilers podcast empire, please tell our listeners where they can find you and what they should. It's a lot of great content.
We are just everywhere on the socials. Major Spoilers. You can find us at majorspoilers.com. Just do a search for Major Spoilers on your favorite podcasting app, and you will find all of our shows. We've got about 5 or 6 shows that we do on a very regular basis right now. Everything from comic books on Major Spoilers to Real Play Podcast, where we're right now playing Achtung Cthulhu, where we're punching Nazis in the face and punching outer space monsters. And so we're having a lot of fun with that. And of course, we've got our gaming one with Munchkin Land and Top 5 and so many more. So come join the fun at majorspoilers.com.
Well, Stephen, I've always been a fan.
I'll always be a fan of you guys, no matter what. I will be a fan of you guys. until my dying day.
Just because we love you very much.
Very sweet.
Aw, thank you so
Very
much.
sweet. Well, thank you for taking a busy your time out of your busy celebrity schedule to come visit us. It was very
Thanks,
kind.
guys.
All right, have a wonderful night.
Bye.
Wow, there he is, celebrity
The man, the
podcast
myth, the
host
legend.
Steven Schleicher, right there. Now, Ashley, I know I said that this was the night of celebrities, but I got an email. Hold on, I pulled it up right here.
Because you print all your emails.
Yes, I print them out.
Because Steven is the futurist and you're the
yes.
Luddite.
I got an email that said Fax, and I was very confused about that. And then I scrolled down to the next email, and that email was from a person who said that they work in the business. I'm sorry, I'm going to go read this real quick. They work in the business of podcasting for a very famous person, possibly a celebrity.
Wow.
So I don't know who this is, but if you do email us and demand his time, I'm going to let you on the show. So, okay, here's our next guest here.
Don't say that, people can
Oh, wait a
demand
minute.
our time.
Hold on. It's Omar
am I-
Najam.
Am I on? Am I? Oh, good.
Yes.
Oh, God. The 7th hour is the key. That's what I learned. Hi. How are you both doing? How's it going?
Good. Omar. I didn't. It's lovely to see you. Thank you. You've been a long-time guest on all the holiday specials.
Yeah,
Former
yeah.
star and writer of the Red Shirt Diaries
Yes,
across
yes.
multiple seasons.
My favorite writer's room. You can tell all of our previous bosses I said that.
That's right. That's right. Omar wrote one of the episodes. Omar paid an android. But Omar, you sent me an email saying that you work for a very famous person in podcasting. What is this about?
Well, yeah. Well, as much as I would love to swing by and for this to be a social call.
And you're welcome anytime.
Oh, thank you.
You literally know where we live.
I appreciate that. But I am here on official business. I
Okay.
am sent here by the queen of podcasts herself to
Oh.
say, and let me make sure I get this right. Congratulations on 10 episodes, 500 years. Is that right?
Exactly.
She
Nailed
nailed
it.
it.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
She
So from
nailed
the
it.
queen of podcasts herself. And we are friends. So really quickly before we continue this ceremony, I would ask between the three of us, please do not ask me who the queen of podcasts is. If I reveal that information, I'll get in a lot of trouble. So let's just go ahead and pave over that question.
It's
That's most of our questions.
it's Taylor Swift, right?
what I would give to be able to get even a nose, what I would give to get a ticket to the parking lot at one of her shows.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
you can check her off the list, but that's maybe the last question we can ask about that because I will get in so much.
Okay.
trouble.
Okay. We
okay.
understand.
Okay. Well, what is a queen of podcasts, and is it the wife of Conan O'Brien?
It is well. Okay, so I guess we're crossing two names off the list.
Okay. All right. Fair. Okay.
But the queen of podcasts essentially is, how do I put this? Royalty.
Nicole
She
Byer.
oversees the kingdom of podcasts.
Uh-huh.
You know how some podcasts are serious podcasts, other podcasts are just kind of fun podcasts, and it's hard to tell which one's which. She's the one who actually declares which one is which.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Are you here with a declaration?
Are
I
we?
actually have an award to
Oh my
present to
God.
you
Oh, wow.
right here.
Wow.
Geek History Lesson is officially an official podcast. And
What?
we haven't printed it yet. If you could in post,
We finally made it. We're a podcast.
you did it according to this piece of paper right here. And again, if your post team could go ahead and
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Fantastic.
we got
Omar
all-
showed up with special effects.
Omar was like, I am a VFX
and
supervisor.
you can only do that if you work for the Queen of Podcasts. Let me tell you. It's
Okay,
hands
okay.
up in here.
You're the only ones that have clearances to do fireworks on a podcast. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we got that. We got these as well. We got a whole bunch of stuff. So don't worry about it. It's all gifts from the Queen herself.
All the audio listeners have no clue what's happening right now.
And honestly, they're missing out. This is incredible.
It's there's nothing better than it. Let me tell you. Unpaid work, but there's nothing better than it. Let me
Oh,
tell you.
man.
Oh, I mean, it wouldn't be a job in Los Angeles if it wasn't unpaid,
I couldn't
particularly
agree
in the
more.
podcast.
Well,
space.
since you work for this unofficial queen of
no, official. But I
Oh.
think
Oh yeah, she is a piece
we
of
just
cake.
can't
Oh.
know the government.
Okay.
the full
So
government.
the official queen of podcasts declared as a podcast, and she of course she's here to help us celebrate our 10 episodes in 500
Yeah.
years and all that stuff like that. What, in your opinion, makes a good podcast? I mean, you do work in that department, so I'm looking for notes to make us better for the next 500 episodes, if that is possible.
Sure. I would say, you need three things for any podcast, any good podcast. I would say chemistry between the hosts. I would say interest in the material that you are talking about in the podcast.
Okay, so
And
we're 0 for 2 so far.
Okay. Well, maybe this last one will help. I would say the last thing you really need for an official good podcast is a declaration from the Queen of Podcasts herself, which you did just receive.
Okay.
You will receive in the
perfection.
mail shortly. So
Perfection.
A third of the way there.
Mhm.
We got
Exactly.
500 more episodes to get our shit together.
Exactly. Keep your heads up. Keep your heads up. 1,000 is where it really hits. So
Oh.
Yeah. You got to make it to 1,000, and that's where the podcast really
Okay.
cranks.
residuals kick in. Yeah.
Oh, there's residuals now in
Oh, yeah.
podcasting.
Oh yeah.
But you have to hit episode 1,000.
Yeah. Friends,
Yeah.
originally a podcast. Burn Notice, originally a podcast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. CSI Miami?
No, that one actually was a Twitch stream. Back in-
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
So, yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
I don't know why that is so accurate.
Yeah, it hurts.
It's on
It really
Tubi,
is.
and I love Tubi. Not sponsored by Tubi. So Omar, another thing, I'm really, I know I don't want you to give any, you can't tell us the identity
Of Georgia Hardstark.
of.
Okay, well, we can cross 3 off.
Okay. Okay. You cannot give away the identity of the Queen of Podcasts, but does she live in Los Angeles? Is she in the Big L, as we call it? As I only call it?
She's a, let me say, her home is America, but
Okay.
she builds a house of the world.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going back to the Taylor Swift theory, honestly, because she's the only person I can think of off the top of my head who owns a private jet.
See, at this point, I'm starting to think Kathy Bates.
Oh, huge if true. Huge if true.
Do you need a moment to apologize? Hold on a second. Yeah. We'll give you that.
We're but lowly peons. We didn't mean it.
Team, it's called parody. We're not legally bound to anything that happens, as long as we say it's a joke. We should be fine.
Okay, great.
Alleged.
Omar, first off, as you work in this business of celebrity podcasts, which you've now declared us of, as we are now a celebrity podcast and a podcast.
Yes.
I got to hear your opinion on this. Are there too many podcasts out there now? Too many? Should we shut some? Should we go out there and shut some of them down?
I think I would say, don't worry about it. There's in the grand scheme of the audio space, there is room for everyone, and room for everyone is actually it's r.o.o.am, so on and so forth. It's a program we're doing, which is essentially culling a lot of podcasts. It's kind of like a No Child Left Behind, but for podcasts. So you please do not worry about it. You got the official paperwork. You're good.
Okay.
Now, next week you might wake up and you might find out that a few 1,000 podcasts have just mysteriously gone missing. But don't worry about it. You're safe and sound. You're good. You're comfortable.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a good thing to hear. This isn't about podcasting, and I know it said in your email and your writer that every question had to be about podcasting, but we're friends or whatever.
Sure.
I like to ask people. We're Geek History Lesson.
Yes.
And if you had to give a 30-minute Geek History lesson about any subject, you could fill that 30 minutes just off the top of your head, what would it be?
I'm a fan of the podcast. And so I know a lot of the topics you've covered, and a lot of them touch on, like I'm a Green Lantern fan, for example, and you've done Green Lantern. There's several other, fandoms that you've touched on and discussed. I think for me, though, the fictional character that I haven't heard either of you mention even once, which is wild, is the fictional character President Martin Van Buren. I just feel like the contributions that he's made to literature we haven't quite seen. So maybe that would be one that I would like to bring. I would like to pitch a new volume of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And it's just President Martin Van Buren, and that's it. That's the team.
Okay. He doesn't need anybody else. He is the league.
He is everyone.
He is the league. and that's
every woman.
Yeah, and he is every woman is on the back, and that's in quotation marks.
Okay.
That's
interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
The Martin Van Buren Geek History Lesson. I love that.
Wow, that's when we're really entering our new era.
Oh, that's really good.
Thank you. I graduated UCB.
For the audio listeners, that was a big wink.
Congratulations.
That's so funny. I did not.
I always say one of us graduated UCB and one of us is good at improv.
Okay. If the Queen of Podcasts will allow you, Omar, do you have anything you want to plug?
Sure. You know
have
what?
anything?
On the side, I have a little side hustle. I've got a show called ABCD with my friend Cindy Parikh over on F and Funny on Sundays, where we chat about, being brown in America, figuring stuff out. We play silly games. We do a lot of improv games with some other UCB folk, who a lot of them also, they haven't graduated. But so if you want to check that out, ABCD, it's a little difficult to search. We understand that. The SEO is not maximized. But that's one thing I want to pitch. And the other thing, not necessarily to pitch, but to share with you all, is the Queen did send some gifts to you. So I just wanted to share those with you very quickly.
We have gifts from the Queen of Podcasts.
Being an official podcast comes first. So first you have a SkyTech gaming keyboard, which we'll be sending your way. There you go, with some RGB abilities. That's every.
Is it wired or wireless?
It is wire. Well,
I don't want it.
With a pair of scissors, you can make it wireless.
We have a cat. We don't need a pair of scissors.
We also have an array of every podcast needs this of trading cards from Jurassic Park, Lost World, and Jurassic Park 3. There you go.
Those are important. I have been missing those for 500
We
episodes.
need the emotional support. Jurassic Park
those.
cards.
We need those. We have an action figure of Megabyte from the show Reboot. There you go. You're gonna need.
Wait. Did we give that to you?
Because this I got for free in Bloomington Normal, Illinois, because I complimented it in the window of a comic.
Because I was like, it's not outside the realm of possibility that we did give that to you.
Hold the horses, because I think the last one might be a little familiar. But the penultimate gift every podcast needs is a jar of rubber bands.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's really going to help out episode 600.
Absolutely.
Last but not least, of course, you need the DC Multiverse action figure for Jason Momoa's Aquaman. There you go. That'll be coming to you in the mail.
Of course we do. Of course we do.
And these are all gifts for the Queen of Podcasts.
Does it come with a Build-A-Figure of Zach Braff from the T-Mobile commercial?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it does.
I don't
have one to. I don't have one to show you, unfortunately, right now. But it absolutely does.
Fair.
And it comes with a hefty dose of auto-tune.
Yeah.
If the Queen of Podcasts will allow, we do have from one of the live chats a little bit of love right here from our good friend Ramon, who says, "Love Omar." A Kakfaf fans represent.
Akofa.
ACOFAF.
I've never ever once tried to say that out loud in my entire life.
That's your England Premier football team, right?
That is. Yes.
That's what I thought.
We call it the footy.
Yeah. Omar's in his Ted Lasso era right now.
Yeah.
Omar, well, thank you so much. I would have loved to have you come by in, friend to friend. I really appreciate you coming here by in your professional capacity as assistant to the Queen of Podcasts.
Absolutely.
And thank you for deeming us finally 500 episodes in as a real podcast.
Thank you.
Thank
of course.
Thank you.
From Kathy's mouth itself.
I'm sorry.
Okay, let's not get excited. From the Queen's mouth herself.
Yeah. Still could be Kathy Griffin. That sort of fits in.
Or Kathy Najimy.
Ooh.
Or Catherine Hahn.
This is all parody.
Wait.
You don't give me the red light. Don't do that. Don't get that old theatrical cane out. Do not pull me off with that old theater vaudeville cane.
Well, Omar, that's about all the time we have for you. So sorry, Omar. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on. I'm getting a phone call. I have to take this real quick.
Okay. Yes. Sure. This isn't quite.
Your Majesty. Oh, wow. Your voice sounds so sultry and smooth. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I will not kiss your ass. Yes. What is this? Kick Omar off the podcast? Are you?
Does she mean Omar Epps?
Are you sure? I mean, he's done a great job for you.
Omar C. Maybe that's who she means. Omar.
Maybe. Fingers crossed.
He also screwed up your kale beet salad order.
Oh.
Well, I will. Yes, Your Majesty. I will.
Kale. It's so hard to tell. They're all leaves. How am I supposed to know?
I will. I will say, good day, Omar. I am currently not on a phone right now. I am, but in no official capacity. from the Queen of Podcasts, I have to say goodbye to you, sir.
Madam Bates, please don't do this. Don't do this. Goodbye. Congratulations on 500 years and episodes. Good job.
Day.
Good
day.
job, you all. Good job.
Day.
Love you, bye.
Oh, that's too bad. I can't believe. Wow, what? Who knew there was a Queen of Podcasts?
Wow, I'm glad this was a matriarchy, I have to say, because feminism is pushing men down the stairs. So I'm really glad that it was a queen and not a king.
Well, I'm so glad. So it's been a night of celebrities. We've had
Geek
Patrick
History
Stewart,
Lesson, celebrity.
Patrick Stewart, Brent Spiner, Billy Boyd, Steven Schleicher, Scott Johnson, Brian Ibbett, and the Queen of Podcasting.
And, well, Omar Najam as well.
Omar, he is a big streamer.
Omar's next project he worked on is about to be everyone's favorite thing. So
yes.
You can say you knew him when.
You can say you knew him when. And the night of celebrities continues because we have a celebrity here as well, a celebrity of my heart. That's what I'm going to say.
I was going to say the same thing.
Well, it's
I just think tells you how beloved.
Hey,
he
Ashley,
is.
do you think we should do a podcast together?
Maybe.
We've never done this before. You think we should start one right now?
This is our first episode.
Ooh.
Hello and welcome to the Weekly Planet.
Nobody's taken that name.
Never, not once.
Yes. So we have another celebrity here, a celebrity of researching. A writer themselves, a YouTuber as well. We have GHL research assistant Diego Anthony Nunez here. Diego, welcome.
Whoop, whoop. Hey
With
guys, how's it going?
Pink jacket.
Yeah, and I got my GHL shirt on too.
Me too.
Wow.
Jason didn't get the memo.
I only wear black now.
Very goth of you.
He's in his Christopher Nolan era.
Diego, you have joined the GHL family very recently as helping us out with research assistant time and all kinds of articles and things like that. And, we did get special compensation from the Queen of Podcasts to include you on the show. So you are now part of the Podcasting Research Guild.
I think you're a Duke or maybe a Viscount by association.
Hence the celebrity of it all, right?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cool.
So
You did not for nothing get the most welcome in the comments section. So you're certainly the most beloved celebrity.
But Diego,
I'm just a normal, healthy human person.
A
Don't let them
normal
across.
human person.
But Diego's become a big part because he's helped us out, doing some heavy lifting with research over the last couple of years. And Diego, I really want to ask you, when did you first start listening to Geek History Lesson? What do you remember, like what your first episode was, and how you discovered us?
I don't. I've been coming back to that.
Well,
The
thank you,
only thing
Diego. This has been nice.
What I remember is I definitely remember when 250 was the milestone.
Mhm.
That I do remember when you I know for sure it was
What did we do for
2017.
250?
I don't want to say it because it's part of a trivia game.
Oh, okay. I was going to look it up, so I'm glad you mentioned that.
So I know for sure it was 2017. Some of you guys know, so I know you two know personally, 2017 was a big year where I started going through my big weight loss journey. And that was the year I first met you guys. I happened to come across you guys at LA Comic-Con. It was probably Kamikaze at the time. I don't remember. Yeah. But I know like you guys were like my podcast buddies. Like you guys were the first podcast that I fell in love with and became an active fan. I know I came across you guys because of Sal from Comic Pop, because you both would be featured on there on a regular basis. And then I loved what you guys had to say and your input, and you guys plug in Geek History Lessons. So when I would check you guys out, it just sort of became like an addictive thing. And like, when I would go work out and all that kind of stuff, it was just like a routine thing. Like I get up, it was like my morning podcast thing to kind of do. And then like, the biggest thing was like when the pandemic hit, and that was like the big comfort because, at the time I was just listening to you guys from like 2017 onward. And 2020 was like when I got to do like the deep dive, when I actually had that opportunity to like go backwards and actually like start from 0 or 1 from onward kind of thing,
Back to the swears. Back to the early era.
There's been swears tonight.
I know, but there were so many swears.
Yeah,
and then Jason said, more people will listen if we don't swear.
That's correct. All right, so Diego, it's funny. I had a research assignment for tonight's episode that I had tasked you with. So would you like to tell the listeners and the lovely Ashley, who has no idea about anything tonight, and none of the celebrities?
No, but I will say that I tried to get a lot of people to come on, and a lot of people who told me no must have told you yes first.
Oh, interesting.
That's funny. So yeah, so Jason tasked me with doing my own like fun little stats. I have a list of Marvel episodes, like the most Marvel episodes you guys have done, most DC episodes. I've done miscellaneous, which is basically anything that's not the big two.
Hunger Games.
I have stats. I have stats for guests and so on and so forth.
All right, so let's kick it off.
We're going to realize how little we retained from the last 10 years.
Take us down the long and winding road of Geek History Lesson.
All righty. So we'll start off with Marvel episodes. So you have a grand total of 133 episodes. 127 of them are without a recast. Your highest year was 2018 with a total of 18 episodes.
18 Marvel episodes in 2018?
Yeah, which makes sense, I guess, because that was Infinity War and Black Panther and stuff like that.
That's too many.
Yeah, the end of an era.
Yeah,
I'll leave it at that.
Because then I'll follow it up with this. Your lowest year was 2020 with exactly 0 new lessons for Marvel. You had a couple of Marvel adjacent stuff, but it included your Groot April Fool's joke, your X-Men movie retrospective, but no new lessons.
Cool.
Disney, step it up. That's what I'm going to say. Disney, step it up. Okay.
DC, you had a total of 154 episodes, 153 of them without it being a recast. Your biggest year was 2016 with a total of 23 episodes.
That's scans,
yeah. Your lowest was 2023 with a total of 9 episodes. And a fun fact, consistently with DC, you guys have managed to stay above that number on average with a 13 to 14 a year.
So like
a lot of
once a month
love.
and a couple bonuses.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then following up, we have miscellaneous episodes. So, like as I mentioned, everything that's
Diego,
just not the big two.
I just want to point out, Diego is actually picking up paper. He is actually using, unlike everybody else in this podcast, using paper for jokes.
Yeah.
Diego is actually looking at paper.
Did actual paperwork.
Yeah. There it is. Yeah. All right.
So miscellaneous, we have 65 episodes. Your biggest year was actually your first year in 2014.
Okay.
Your lowest year was 2017 with 2 episodes. But however, the last few years since 2020, it's been on a steady increase.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars episodes, you've had a total of 8 episodes. Star Trek, you've had 12 episodes. James Bond, about 7. Mailbag episodes, you've had 8 episodes. TV reviews, when you guys were starting that early on in the show, was about 11 episodes. 19 book club episodes. Movies that you've covered, about 38. And then your top 5 episodes, or your list episodes, were about 48 as well. And then here's your guests. You have had over 100 different guests at least on the show.
There's no way that's true.
1/5? So 1/5 of our series.
There's no way that's true.
That's too many.
I've counted.
Jason literally, when we started, was like, no guess.
Yep. Yeah, I was. I was very much like, no guess.
This makes sense. Your highest year was 2020 with a total of 22 guests appearing. Your lowest year was your first year. So as Jason said, no guests. So 2014.
Nobody wanted to come on.
Do you guys happen to know who your first ever guest was?
I'm going to say it was Steven
Oh, God,
Slider.
it's got to be Steven.
No, it's got to be somebody we know.
You're close. You're close.
I was like, it's got to be like Steven or Matthew or...
Is it Matthew Peterson?
No, it was Sterling Gates.
Oh,
wow.
It's Sterling's here or was here. I told him he had to come out for 7:30 or I was going to be mad, and he held up.
It's so funny. We just got a text from Sterling Gates literally earlier tonight, congratulating us on 500 episodes. So that's so funny that he's our first guest.
He was your first for the best Doctor Who companions. It was like a solid month of Doctor Who stuff.
I remember.
And
that.
Steven was on the next episode right after that.
That's right. Yeah.
Speak of the devil, our first
And he
guest,
will appear.
Sterling Gates.
Yeah.
Yay, he's right here. Wow.
He
Here's-
also says, "I was your first
I
guest."
was your first guest.
Question mark.
Sterling Gates was our first guest, and he's thank you so much for coming, Sterling. Again, we said
I've
it was a
actually
night
made a
of
list.
celebrities. This has been a night of celebrities: Sterling Gates, Patrick Stewart, Brent Spiner, Billy Boyd, Diego Anthony Nunez,
None of
the queen
stars.
the queen of. This is a night of stars in Geek
Indeed.
Lesson. Yeah,
Would you guys be interested to hear your top 5 most appeared guests on the show?
sure.
Yes.
Let's hear it.
Okay. So number 5, Rachel Cushing with 3 appearances.
Okay.
Number 4 is Jeremy Skinner with 4 appearances. Matthew Peterson with 5 appearances. Now, as I've actually just updated this list as of today, Steven, who has made 5 appearances. And number 1 is DJ Woolridge, who broke the record of 6.
Oh,
it was DJ Willis.
DJ.
We thought it was Steven. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
That's wild.
And it was funny because actually
The
Matthew
only Steven
had
Answers podcast.
Matthew had the total of 5 for about a few years because his last appearance was in 2017 and he reigned supreme up until this year when DJ came on, breaking it with 6.
so wild.
DJ Woolridge hosts Only Stupid Answers. He's also a great friend and a really awesome podcast host as well. So, like, it's not the podcast you record. It's the people that you bamboozle to come on your podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you go.
And fun fact, Diego's worked on more episodes than all of those people and probably all of those people combined.
That's true. That's true. At
this
this point.
point.
At this point, yeah. Diego, okay, do we have more stats? Or I also know that you have a short... You have more stats for us, sir?
No, that's it for the stats.
Okay, good. I was getting tired of them. All right.
Sorry.
We also, I believe I asked you as well to be like, Diego, you like to wear, he's wearing a very fancy pink jacket on this podcast right now. And I said, Diego, do you have a trivia game? Could you write us a Geek History Lesson trivia game?
I do.
He's holding up a piece of paper. So we're going to play a Geek History Lesson trivia game about Geek History Lesson.
This always goes so poorly for me.
Oh, it's gonna go very badly. But
This is gonna be really funny.
to kick this off right, Diego, episode 499, partially inspired by you. You did a great job with some writing and some research on episode 499 of The Crow.
Thank you.
And as I said, the story on the Crow episode, when Diego first came on and was like, "Hey, I would love to write and help you guys research Geek History Lessons," he said, "Please let me write an episode about The Crow." I said, "Sir, this is a Wendy's. Please leave." And then I said, "Oh no, you're right. This is a podcast. Please come in here." But last week, Diego wrote an astounding, helped research an astounding Crow episode, and we said that there was a crow in the studio, and I think that crow's here. Oh,
it's like magic.
The magic of podcasting.
the crow is here. Still
Don't
here.
shoo it away, Jason. How dare you?
The crow lives here.
Embrace the crow. Yes.
I would be so delighted.
Intern Brago, by the way, is also
Yes.
in here, directly beneath our recording
feet,
setup, right
our
by our
feet.
feet. So you have all the animals are here for your trivia game, Diego. So
That's exciting.
Okay, so let's kick this off. Are there any rules? What rules do we know? How are we playing?
We'll play this like we've traditionally played it with the inside the podcast studio. We'll do it turn base. And so I'll ask Jason a question. If he gets it right, you get a point. If you get it wrong, Ashley has a chance to steal, and then so on and so forth.
Okay.
If people want to help us out in the comments, we would love that.
Super funny. Okay.
Should
Are you guys
we
ready?
Should we turn off the comments? Is that
No, it's fine.
Okay.
There's
All right.
like a 20-second delay.
That's true. That's true.
Excuse me. Okay. Got to make a point sheet.
Good call.
More paper.
I forgot. I know, right? Okay.
Somebody, Jesse, in the comments here said, "My cats are looking for the crow." So
You're welcome.
sounds like there's more of them here
A
now.
menace. We have an attempted murder at the Mind University right now.
There you go.
Sounds very goth. I
Right.
love that. I feel like I brought a goth influence to this podcast, and I'm very pleased with that.
All right, Diego. So let's
Okay.
kick off this trivia game. Let's go.
Okay, Jason. Question 2014. Who was your first DC character you did a lesson on? A. Deathstroke. B. Lex Luthor. C. Black Canary. D. Catwoman.
Okay, so it's funny. Diego,
I know this one.
Diego we started in 2014. Diego's giving us questions based on year. That's really cool. I think it is Lex Luthor.
Incorrect.
Okay.
Ashley, you want to steal?
It's Deathstroke.
Yep, that is correct.
Because we were in our
Ashley.
Arrow era.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Ashley, question 2015. Who was your first guest professor to teach a lesson? A. Jordan Dunn. B. Nick Mundy. C. Matthew Peterson. D. Diego Anthony Nunez.
It was Matthew, and I believe it was either Power Rangers or Optimus Prime.
It was like a Transformers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Correct. It was Matthew, but it was actually Howard the Duck.
Oh, wow. Howard the Duck.
That was all
early.
So Matthew Peterson from the Major Spoilers podcast. That was mainly because I was like, I can't teach a lesson on Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
Somebody that
That's Reddit.
actually cares about the characters.
Okay, so Jason.
Yes.
Question 2016.
Mm-hmm.
This marked your milestone of hitting 100 episodes. Your milestone episodes of 25, 50, 75, and 100 you covered were Fantastic Four, West Coast Avengers, Lois Lane, and Rocket Raccoon. In what order were these lessons of the milestones?
Okay, so give me my numbers again, please.
It was okay, so 25, 50, 75, and 100. The choices are Fantastic Four, West Coast Avengers, Lois Lane, and Rocket Raccoon. What was the order of their release?
I know two of them.
The one that throws me off is Rocket Raccoon. I'm pretty certain Fantastic Four is 50. I'm pretty certain that Lois Lane is 75. And I'm very certain West Coast Avengers is number 100. So I'm going to say Rocket Raccoon was 25. I could be like way wrong on here, but that's what I think is the order here. Am I correct, Diego?
So you're right about Rocket Raccoon and West Coast Avengers. So we'll give Ashley a chance to see if she could get that in the right order.
Yeah. So Lois Lane is 50. I know that for a scientific fact. Lois Lane is 50. Sorry. When did you put Rocket Raccoon? 75?
No, it was 25.
So then Rocket Raccoon is 75 and Fantastic Four is 25. So Fantastic Four, Lois Lane, Rocket Raccoon.
I think he
West
was
Coast Avengers.
flipping Fantastic Four and no. Am I confused? I'm confused now, Diego.
I'm sorry, guys. I thought this would work out a little bit better. I thought I was being clever, but
I know Lois Lane is 50, and I know West Coast Avengers is 100, and I know Jason Todd is 150.
we'll write it off as a no because you guys are both close. Basically, it was Rocket Raccoon, Lois Lane, Fantastic Four, and West Coast Avengers. I think Rocket was like one of those things you weren't recognizing as 25, but then like Lois was like, obviously you were celebrating as like a 50 thing.
Yeah.
So
we don't recognize every number every time. It's only like, that's a part of the big reason why we kept pushing episode 500 back, because we were just like, I don't know what to do for this one. What do we do? And then the celebrities showed up.
Yay!
Okay. Question 2017 for Ashley.
Okay.
Who was the last character to have a 2-part episode? Was it A, Hal Jordan, B, Iron Man, C, Wolverine, or D, Justice League?
Okay, Diego, please reread those. I was like, the elephant came into the room real quickly, and I don't know if most people heard your answers there, my friend.
A, Hal Jordan, B, Iron Man, C, Wolverine, or D, Justice League?
That's so hard. I think it's Iron Man.
You're correct.
Oh!
Wow, Ashley's murdering this game.
She is. That's 3
I'm just going to hang out with the crow.
The thing that haunts me about the Hal Jordan episode is that Jeremy Adams told us that before he started writing Hal Jordan, he listened to our
current Hal Jordan Green Lantern writer.
And he has told he's told that story lots of places before, but that haunts me.
Yeah,
honestly.
Okay, Jason. Question 2018.
Yes.
All these creatives have appeared at least twice on the show, but one of them has appeared at least 3. And who is it? Your choices are A, Tom King, B, Ben Percy, C, Sterling Gates, or D, Kelly Thompson.
Oh, okay. So here's my question to you.
Does it count recasts?
Or do you count? Are you counting the Comic Drive live stream that we used to do for
No,
the
no.
Operation Gratitude? Okay. I'm gonna guess it's Sterling Gates.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is in the stream literally earlier tonight?
Your answer, Sterling.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. Because if we were counting the charity live stream, I mean, Tom King was on that one as well, so that would be his.
I
third,
forgot about that. Yeah.
And
No, okay.
we have recast his Riddler episode as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was going to be my question was
This is deep geek history
I
lesson
know.
lore. Go back into the feed. Scroll back through the episodes. Sterling Gates said, I would have guessed me too.
Ashley, question 2019. Which of these characters has a top 5 best stories episode, but not an actual lesson? Is it A, Swamp Thing?
It's Swamp
B,
Thing. Iron Fist, we also did best stories first and then the lesson. Because I pitched Swamp Thing
I'll just be over
lesson
here with the
about
crows.
once a year, and Jason goes, we're not doing Swamp Thing.
that actually, so just so you know, I would do that. All right.
Jason?
I have an Enterprise toy. I'll just be like, I'll just fly it around.
So, question 2020 is another order episode. Should I just go ahead and skip it?
No, go for it. Let's.
No.
Your confusion
No, you're fine.
is
You're
everyone's
fine.
entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
Our confusion is everyone's entertainment. So sure, let's go for it.
So, this will be covered. 2020 was the mark of your 300th episode. So the lessons that were taught for the milestones were Doctor Doom, John Wick, Nightcrawler, and Addams Family. What was the order?
Okay, so give us the numbers. Is this Ashley's question or mine? I'm
It's
sorry.
your question.
It's your question. So this was
All
for 2020, 225, 250, 275, and 300.
Oh boy. I think John Wick is 300. I think Doctor Doom is 250. My other two choices are that are not John Wick
Nightcrawler
or
and
Doctor-
Addams Family.
Oh boy. Addams Family is probably 300, and then Nightcrawler is 375. Is that right?
Okay.
Or
so
no,
how I will do
I'm mixing numbers here.
What order? Just say them in order.
So okay, I'll say them in order. I think it goes Addams Family. I think it goes Addams Family, Doctor Doom, Nightcrawler, Addams Family.
You said Addams Family
Okay.
twice.
I don't know. I'm so confused by this question now.
I apologize.
It's not your fault.
So what I will do is I'll ask Ashley, and then I'll go on who was the closest. How about that?
Okay, can you just remind me the 4 options one more time?
Nightcrawler, so Nightcrawler, Addams Family, John Wick, and Doctor Doom.
Addams Family, Doctor Doom, John Wick, Nightcrawler.
Jason, you were the closest. So it was
You can have the
Nightcrawler,
point.
Doctor Doom, the Addams Family, and John Wick.
I didn't think Addams Family was that late. That's so interesting.
I have no
I think
idea
it
where
was
these
for the
numbers
animated
are.
movie.
It was for the animated movie, yeah. But it was a
Yeah.
fun lesson. I really liked that lesson.
Okay, so let's go. That was Jason's question. So, Ashley, you're gonna know this one, maybe.
What year is this question in?
2021?
2021?
Question 2021.
Okay.
Which Miyazaki film have you guys not covered yet? Is it A, Kiki's Delivery Service, B, Howl's Moving Castle, C, Castle in the Sky, or D, Princess Mononoke?
Princess Mononoke.
Yep. You are
And
correct.
Totoro. We haven't done Totoro either.
We haven't done most of them, to
Yeah,
be
that's
fair.
true. That's very
There's like
fair.
20 we haven't done.
That
Okay, Jason, I'm gonna put you on the spot for this question.
Please. Is it this year?
No, it's
It was for
2022.
2022.
Got it.
So that was my first year working with you guys on Geek History Lesson.
Sure.
What was my first episode?
Oh man.
Was
who
it
knows?
A? Was it A, League of Super Pets, B, Obi-Wan Kenobi, C, Ironheart, or D, Wong?
I don't think you wrote one of those. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. They all blend together. None of these, I don't remember any of these podcasts, okay? I won't remember this one tomorrow. I'll be like, Diego was in this episode? I don't know. Okay, God. So Wong, Obi-Wan Kenobi. What are my other two choices again?
League of Super Pets, and Ironheart.
Man, God, that is hard. This is really hard because like I'm stuck on Ironheart and League of Super Pets, and I'm not certain which one you did do and which one you didn't. I'm gonna say you didn't do League of Super Pets.
You're incorrect.
Okay,
Ashley, would you like to steal?
I think the first one you wrote is Wong.
You are correct.
Oh.
I was doing it based off of when the movies came out.
I'm sorry. I was guessing the one that you didn't write. I'm lost on these questions. I am so lost on these questions. I
should have clarified too, because I actually wrote all the answers were episodes I did write.
Okay, well, I was completely wrong. See, I said I thought the question was saying which one you hadn't.
No, what was the first one?
That makes sense. All right, see, I can't listen. I don't remember this. What are we doing right now? Is this a night of celebrities or not?
Exactly.
I don't remember.
Okay, Ashley, you get the last question for question 2023.
Yay!
This
will be the one I screw up.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. Actually, I think you might get this one.
There's no way I win.
No, I've got more than 5 correct. So,
as of 500 episodes, which of the Bat family member does not have a lesson yet? Is it A, Stephanie Brown, B, Cassandra Cain, C, Jason Todd, or D, Harley Quinn?
I thought they all had lessons. It's Cassandra Cain.
Yep, correct.
Because Cassandra Cain's another one that I often pitch, but there's not always a great. She's a character that is a hard thing to tie into. I think I got 7.
Yeah, you are correct. 7, and Jason got 2.
Why don't you press the applause button for yourself?
Which one is the applause button?
It's the one that's written. It's yellow and it's written applause.
Yay!
There you go. That was cool.
Good job, guys.
It goes on for a long time.
It's very loud. It's very loud. Ashley is closer to the soundboard during this time than I am. So
I never do well at trivia games, so I think this is karma. I always lose horribly. And then sometimes a person comes to an event that Jason and I are at in public and tells me that he would have done better than me at that trivia game. Fun fact, real thing that happened to me. Moving on.
Diego.
Underestimating you.
I've been asking everybody this entire night, and now it's time for your question.
Uh-oh.
You've already written this Geek History lesson, so the Crow cannot be your answer.
No, Emma Frost cannot be your answer.
Or Emma Frost. Cannot be any lesson that you've ever written for Geek History lesson. But if somebody said, okay, I need you to give me a 30-minute Geek History lesson off the top of your head about any subject. Doesn't even have to be nerdy. What is your Geek History lesson?
Oh, wow. So like any subject, like
any subject,
like anything that.
Yep, you have to be able to fill 30 minutes.
Because you can be a sports nerd or you can be a music
Basically,
nerd.
We're not recording an episode next week, and I just need you to record one. That's why I'm asking this question.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's not true.
You know what? I feel like I could do a lesson like on, I don't know. I've always been passionate about like Dragon Ball Z or something like that. I think I could do like a lesson on that, you know? That'd be kind
Cody
of fun
Bond,
to do.
I think, actually nails it too in his comment where he says, it's Margot Robbie.
Yeah. Honestly, I was about to say that as a joke because I was like, well, there is literally a half an hour video essay on Margot Robbie. So
DBZ, huh? That's a good answer.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun to do.
Well, he is playing to the crowd, everybody, because that's in the works. We don't know where, but it's.
I think we know exactly where.
I don't know about that anymore. Not based on the Queen of Podcasting's future memos of my co-host who has to go traveling for a while.
That's true.
So Diego, everybody out there that's listening, and watching live, I just want to say, if you have any questions for all of people that are watching the live stream, we're happy to answer these questions. I know the audio listeners, you're getting kind of screwed. It's fine. You get to listen to.
That's what you get for not coming live.
You get to listen to episode 0, RoboCop, and the live stream people don't get that.
Episode 0 is Sherlock. RoboCop is episode 1.
Whatever. It's been a long day, and I don't remember any numbers here. But if anybody wants to put
10 years.
It's been a long road getting from there to here. It's been 10 years and 500 episodes. But if anybody would like to put a question into the chat, we'd be happy to answer them and talk about them.
Jason, I can ask you a question. Because we've been asking everybody if you had to teach Geek History lesson, what would you teach that's not comics or not geeky? What would be your 30-minute Geek History lesson?
The question is, do you
like
right? Yeah.
No, it's to you.
Okay.
To me?
Yes, it's to you,
Oh,
Jason.
no, it's to Diego.
No, I said it
I
was-
want to hear Diego's answer first.
So just non-geeky.
Yeah, like not comic books or anything sort of traditionally nerdy.
Oh man, that's tough. I mean, the first thing that popped in my mind would just probably, because I actually did do this in high school, was a lesson on Maynard James Keenan, who I've touted as like my big hero. He's my favorite musician from Tool and Perfect Circle and Pussifer. Like I've done, like when I first got into him, that was like a thing where I actually did a slideshow for a class and like actually taught people about who this guy was. So that immediately brought me back to that. So that would probably be my answer of like, I have actually done that. So that is my real answer.
Good answer, Jason.
That's interesting. Because I have to talk for 30 minutes about this. That's not geeky. I mean,
we're not traditionally geeky, right?
Yeah, I mean, because my gut wants to say James Bond because it's not traditionally geeky, but that doesn't really count. I'm going to say possibly carpentry, or just in general the state of Kansas, my home state.
Ooh.
So yeah. Ashley, what would be your answer?
I mean, honestly and unironically, I could just talk about corvids for half an hour, which are the type of birds that crows are, because I just think they're really neat. I'm that person who's like, look, a crow! Look, two crows!
I'll sit front row.
Did you know that blue jays are the less goth cousin of corvids? I find that a fun fact.
That is actually fun. And a fact, so thank you.
Corvids are some of the only birds that have self-awareness and know they're alive, and they're the only ones that can repeat complex patterns. So I could definitely go for a half an hour just with the random things I know about corvids.
Diego, do you have a bit of time to stick around for some of these questions, or would you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have some people from the live stream that have been giving us some questions here.
Let's do it.
Josiah Stake said, "What is your favorite GHL episode?" Ashley?
Jason Inman.
Oh, for a second there, I was like, "What?"
No, like,
and then I was like, "Oh yeah, there is a Jason Inman episode." Oh, that's right. That's like episode 250. That's 200.
No, it's an anniversary episode though.
It is an episode. I don't know.
I think I have it somewhere. I'll have to go through
You're
my
fine.
notes.
You're fine.
Yeah. My favorite GHL episode. It's hard because I only like really remember the ones that are from the last year or so. Like those are the ones that really stick out. So like Dune really sticks out to me.
Dune is a great episode.
And The Expanse is a great episode for me. But now that you've said the Me episode because it has my mom on it.
Yeah.
Bernadette Lovely Inman. I think I have to go with that episode because that's going to be a special memory. So there you go. But I also do love Fantastic Four as a two-parter because Ashley did not like Fantastic Four before that episode, and I sort of used those episodes to convince her to like the concept of the Fantastic Four.
To give a not Jason answer, I really like our Teen Titans two-parter as well.
Yeah, but I like kind of where the holiday specials have gone too.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. So there you go.
Diego hasn't answered. What's your favorite GHL episode that's not Emma Frost? Emma Frost is a very good episode, I have to say.
I am very, very proud of Emma Frost. But the thing is, actually, it gets harder now every time I've like come out with episodes with you guys because like initially, like my favorite was Icon, just because purely of the discussion. Like that was the first time you guys put me to the task of like, let's ramp up the discussions, let's hammer it in. And I felt like that really like shined. And I felt like we all hit it out of the park with that episode. And then like Emma Frost unexpectedly just kind of became a big like discussion episode. And then I do feel strongly about the same thing with The Crow. Like for as heavy as that episode is, that was the other thing too, is I was like, not exhausted, but I was just like, oof, like that script. I was like, I didn't know how you guys were going to do it. And then sure enough, like you guys were able to at least bring some lighter tones without after patronizing the material, but making it a fun episode with good discussions. So like, it's hard for me to say, but like, I guess to throw a curveball is like, because those episodes are ones I'm fond of, but I actually do love League of Super Pets because that was just fun Silver Age nonsense. And like, I'll never get over the chip joke that Jason does, where he just repeats the name of the.
Yeah. That the chip apostrophe ip. Yeah, the biggest, the bit that I've regretted the fastest ever. So, yeah. I don't know. I just come from the classic radio days where like you do bits, you do running gags, you do little. You sort of do like infotainment almost because it makes people remember stuff more. Yeah, edutainment. But so yeah, that's sweet. Here's a question from congratulations guys. Kevin White said been a fan since CW show review days, which seems forever ago. Here's a question from Balooey. Which episode was the hardest to research? For me, the hardest episodes are always the ages. Mm-hmm. Like it's always. I remember when we did Superman: The Golden Age. I think that episode took like 3 days to research, which was a long time. Ashley?
Jessica Jones was really hard, mostly because I did not enjoy any of the subject matter.
Oh,
and it was kind of
hot
a
takes.
slog to get through. I remember laying on the couch, reading it and being like, I'm miserable writing this. And that's not fair because there is interesting and impactful things to talk about with every character, and something that we really pride ourselves on is being able to do that. I also remember the Enterprise episode being really hard for me personally because it was one of our first breaks from format, and I just really struggled with it. It was like a me thing. It wasn't because the episode was necessarily difficult.
We have a lovely super chat here from Adam Grunther. You did not have to do a super chat. It's so very, very, very nice. Thank you so much. Who is your favorite character to have played in the podcast? Tex, Nightcrawler, Cleo, Drunk Hal Jordan, etc. Congrats on the huge achievement. I don't know what he's talking about with playing a character on the podcast. These characters call in. And but I mean, I could tell you. Actually, do you have a favorite character that appears
on the podcast? Drunk Hal Jordan was a particular favorite of mine. How about you?
That was a very short answer, very succinct. Only Drunk Hal Jordan.
Only Drunk Hal Jordan
is the one that she likes. Diego, who's a favorite character of yours that has called into the show before?
You know, I do love Tex.
Who doesn't?
Everybody's Tex.
He's on the poster.
He's on the poster.
He's on the poster. By the way,
as he should be.
We gotta show this right here. JasonEvan.com/store, the 500 episode of poster. Diego Anthony Nunez is on the GHL 500th episode poster. There's a lot of Easter eggs on this poster if you look for it. So, JasonEvan.com store, only available for like 30 days. Go get it. Go grab it up. Scoop it up. But Adam Grunther here. Who is your favorite character? Who's your favorite character, Diego?
He said Tex.
Oh, he said Tex. Is Tex the only answer?
Well, actually, I love
right?
Tex and Nightcrawler. Well, yeah, but I actually love the dynamic between Nightcrawler and Tex because I do think it's adorable and I think it works really well.
I mean, I have to go that I love every time Tex calls in too because he is a character that literally came from canon that we named. Like a Texas Cowboy is in Nightcrawler's,
early
canon,
origin,
very early. So the fact that like he has lasted this long. I actually think I enjoyed it.
My nightmare.
Oh yes, but also like it's just one of the things that like these characters call into the show, and everybody is kind of cool with it. That's like really neat as well because that is something that could have gone off the rails very quickly. But the fact that characters can call in every time is very, very sweet. I'll take that off there. Okay, we have more questions here. We have, let's see here.
Live vetting of questions.
Yes, I'm reading down a long list that is like constantly updating. So
You've gone too far back up.
I'm trying to figure it out. It keeps updating on me. Let's see here. Who is a guest you wish you could have on an episode, living or dead? That is from Allie Hennigan. Who is a guest you each wish you could have on an episode, living or dead?
Len Wein, I think would have been great. We talk about Len a lot, and Jason interviewed him around early GHL era for the YouTube channel, and we share that a lot, and it's a great interview, and he was so fun and so interesting, and he created every X-Men character that I like, and I think he would have been great.
The thumbnail I made for that video became the image for everybody's article of when he died, because I made this image, this thumbnail. I interviewed him at WonderCon, I think in 2012, and I just made a thumbnail of him, and then like Wolverine is like popping out from behind him, and I know it's like all the news sites used that thumbnail. And unfortunately you don't get thumbnail royalties until you also do 1,000 episodes.
1,000 thumbnails.
1,000 thumbnails.
Rats.
So, rats. So that that's a good answer, Len Wein. man, I mean, I would love to have Grant Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
I will say we have tried to get Grant on here a couple of times. And always gets down to either scheduling snafu or time zones or something like that. But if I could go for a dead person, who I would, man, he would. So this is on the stipulation that he would agree to do it because he infamously refused interviews. I would go with Patrick McGoohan, the writer and creator of the astounding television series The Prisoner, because I would love to talk to him about The Prisoner, but he refused. I have a Prisoner action figure here
over there.
right,
it's literally right here.
Oh man,
in the bubble.
I should do a GHL on The Prisoner. I would die to do
for all 12 people who would listen to
for all 12 people that would watch the series.
That'll be episode 600. If we make it to 600, you can do The Prisoner.
Okay.
2 more years.
Okay. All right. There we go. Let's see here. Let's go through.
Do you want to let Diego answer?
Oh, sorry, Diego. Go ahead. What guests did we have on the podcast, living or dead?
I don't know. It's kind of tough because I'm looking at it in terms of if I was hosting it, or if I was involved. But I mean,
you can host it.
Great. We'll do less, Diego. We'll do less.
We'll hang out with the crows. It's okay.
I mean, I guess it's just because joy, so much joy, and serotonin. I feel. Actually, that's actually pretty relevant, and because it is actually fresh on my mind from the research, I would have. I guess both living and dead. I would love to talk to James O'Barr. I think he's a very fascinating person, so I would love to talk to him. Dead, I would actually love to talk to Brandon Lee. His interviews always fascinated me. So so to be on theme, I would go with Crow alumni.
Anthony Dixon said, "Will you do a Geek History lesson on Roy Harper?"
We did.
Did we?
Yes, in year 1 or 2. I will Google it right now.
I don't know. That is, by the way, if that is true, if we have done an episode on Roy Harper, I will say that is a common theme of social media responses to our podcast, where people will request characters that we have already done.
We did. If we didn't, I'm going to scream.
Know. Anthony, we're going to find out live in the air whether we've done a Roy Harper episode. Speedy himself. It's so funny. We're all. I don't know if Diego is Googling it. Are we all?
I'm so sure we did one in the first year.
We're all. This is such exciting podcasting. We're all typing.
Did we really not?
We have.
I'm so
I don't
sorry.
think you did.
If I didn't. Anthony.
I don't. So we owe an apology here to Anthony Dixon. Anthony Dixon.
Said I was sorry.
Maybe. That's all I can say. All right. Mateus says, do you guys ever think about redoing very old episodes of characters that had a lot happening in the meantime? So between when we recorded and when we've updated. We've had that conversation several times. I don't know.
Maybe. It's always maybe.
It's always a maybe. It's always a maybe. We just don't really, we don't know how we would update it. We don't know how we would do it. That's why the recasts are so fun, because, it's just you get to rehear it and we don't have to do anything. It's always the best.
That's true.
That's right. Look,
we living like kings.
We are a night of celebrities. We talked to the queen of podcasting tonight. People don't, if you become a celebrity, you become a queen, you don't do anything.
It's true.
That's right. Right, Diego? Well, Diego, how would you want us to revisit old characters? Or are there any other characters you'd be like, oh, I want to do some of that research, get in there?
I would say that only for earlier episodes, maybe in the first 50 or so, just because what those episodes are compared to what the show became is so drastically different. Your Carol Danvers episode is nothing like what you guys usually do. And so that was a character that always stuck out to me, because I feel like there was a lot of material to cover there, because I think in the episode you guys have a rough time going through it and trying to one, figure out how you guys are doing it, but then two, of the actual research of itself. So I would if anything, that would just probably be my thing, is just probably look at the first 50 or so and see if that could be reduxed, for lack of a better word.
Diego hates the first 2 years of the podcast. Understood.
Fair.
Or the first year.
Fair.
It's fine. No, it's fine.
Honestly, fair.
It's fair. Tom Trainer has a great question here. What would you tell 2014 Jason and Ashley if you could go back? There's a pandemic a-coming.
Just eat the house loan and get an upside down mortgage, because you're never going to be able to afford a house. This is your only chance. Good luck.
Just buy a house.
Just buy a house.
Just buy a house.
Just buy one.
Fair. Fair. Buy a house. No one's going to be able to
You're
afford
going to
them.
care a lot less about people's opinions and about
Sterling
staying
Gates said invest in Zoom. Yeah, I was going to say invest in Johnson & Johnson or something like that. Yeah. Invest in Disney until 2018 then sell.
here. Yeah. Learn how to video edit sooner.
I would tell myself the ending of Avengers Endgame and every Super Bowl between then and then, so I could put a lot of bets in Las Vegas. Maybe I buy Dogecoin until it falls in 2018. I don't know.
Yeah, invest in GameStop for a while,
but invest
and then
in
sell.
Invest in Zoom. But yes, buy a house.
Yeah, buy a house.
Buy a house. Buy a house. Here we go. Simply Emily says, how far out do you plan out your recording schedule?
That's such an interesting question because the answer is both a year and then Jason changes it the weekend before we record.
Yes, it gets planned out, and then it also gets completely destroyed based on the recording schedule.
Or based on things moving around. Like you heard us doing a lot of that sort of live during 2020 and 2021. But things get like our Craven the Hunter episode we just put out because Diego had written it and we'd recorded it, and then they moved that. I'm sure truly excellent film yet again. And there's a certain point where it's like, why are we sitting on the content?
Yeah.
But we have like a rough plan for usually like the year. I would say we broadly stick to. But we try to record 4 to 6 episodes at a time. So usually a few weeks.
Yep. Amanda said, is there a topic you want to cover, but there isn't enough material on?
Well, we covered Killer Frost with only 2 issues. So I think we can do.
For me, a lot of those are just where there's like only a movie. Because you're just like, go watch it.
Yeah, that's a tough. That's why we didn't just straight up do Back to the Future. Although we should have just called Steven.
I will say we did consider doing a Back to the Future episode. We did do it. We
did the time travel episode.
We were going to do Back to the Future, like a whole like thing about it and then we were going to follow that up by best time travel movies. But then this talks about scheduling, and scheduling got out of whack. And so we only had time to do one, and it takes less research to do a list. Spoilers, everybody.
Yeah.
So we did the list. So that's why it happened. Tim Robertson, who is a long time fan, showed up here and says, "Love you guys."
Love you too, Tim.
Tim's awesome. Tim's a great old supporter of the thing that's coming back in is the Red Shirt Diaries, everything like that.
And now real life friend.
Anthony Dixon said, #buy a house from Tex Willerman.
Tex is in his Selling Sunset era.
He only owns grocery stores. We know this. He runs 8.
Will he rent me a room in the Piggly
possibly
Wiggly?
9 Piggly Wigglies. Will he rent you a room? That's not sanitary.
I don't really want to live in Texas, though.
They're only in Texas.
No offense to our Texas contingent, but I want to stay on the coast.
Jake Hefner said, what goal do you have for the next 10 years and the next 500 episodes?
To give it to Diego. To become an executive producer and do no work and rake in the dollar bills. That's to foist away all of my responsibilities.
Am I the John Blake of The Dark Knight Rises, where I just inherit and you guys go to Italy?
Yeah.
We go to have a furry bronca at a cafe to nod at our butler.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what we're gonna do. And we as you rise on a lifted brick podcast platform thing,
and we will rename you Robin.
Yep. And
that'll be my new middle name.
Yeah.
Yep. You should use your birth name, Diego. Robin.
The scream I scrumped in that theater when that happened.
Oh man.
I think the genuine answer is the goal and both the challenge is how to keep it interesting and compelling for us and for the listeners. Because the show has changed a lot over the last 10 years, and it's going to change a lot over the next 10 years.
And that's fine. Shows should change, and hosts should change, and
bloom and grow. And
develop
alternate personas.
Yeah, I mean, we've even talked about this on several past live streams. I mean, there was a point where we thought about quitting the show. Like, we were very serious about it, and it's so funny because I think that was over 5.
Not quitting so much as just simply ending it. Because if we quit, it's not like the show is going to keep going.
That's true.
There's no quitting.
But it's funny to think about. I think that was like 5 years ago. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, right around in there. Yeah.
It was somewhere pandemic-ish.
Somewhere right before the panini.
And then the pandemic happened, and I think we were like, well, what else are we
Well, we
gonna
got
do?
nothing else to
I
do.
guess,
Might as well
I
be
guess we're gonna
podcasting.
podcast. I don't know. So there you go. Let's see. I think that's all the questions I've seen, or all the questions we probably should have time for. We don't want to eat up too much of Diego's time, and it's almost 2 hours at this live stream. Thank you so much for all sticking around. And plus, episode 0 is going on the end of that as well. So don't forget, if you're listening to this audio live stream, episode 0 is going to be there. Diego, is there any fun bits? One, thank you for all your work. And thank you for your hard work and for making the podcast better and stronger and prettier. And what do you, Diego, is there anything you got out there to promote or listen to or anything anybody should check out?
So as a companion piece, I will plug in my Crow video essay that I released last week.
It feels like a year ago. I understand.
Yeah, it really does. It's been a month.
Been a year.
Yeah, really. But yeah, that was my latest thing I've just released. You could find it on YouTube under my YouTube name, Black Crow 521. My video essay is called The Crow, How Nothing is Trivial. It serves as a neat companion piece to Geek History Lesson. There's still, they share interesting factoids between each other, but Geek History Lesson gives you more of the facts and the rundown of both the comic and the movie. And my video essay is more of my impressions of those things and how I interpret the material and a lot of, personal, vulnerable takes.
And you waxing nostalgic about the 90s.
Yes.
The intro, I love your opening line. And every time I share the video, it's like, the 90s.
The 90s. What a magical time.
Oh, yes, they were. Diego, well, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Get back to writing.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Get back to work. you got to write the next 500 episodes, or else we won't do it. So all right, thank you. I'm cracking the whip. Get out of here.
Bye,
Good night.
guys.
Bye.
All right, there he is, the wonderful celebrity Diego Anthony Nunez. Everybody, I just really quick, business, a little bit of business to get to around here. Next week, we have another special episode. And then after that, I think we're going to be taking a few weeks off because I don't think we have. Don't have the schedule in front of me, but there might be a couple of weeks before you hear an episode. And then we'll be right back to the game again. And don't forget as well, we've talked about all the things over there. There's so many wonderful Discord patrons who have helped us out over at Patreon. .com/Jawin. They sent us a lovely video of Data from Star Trek The Next Generation, Brent Spiner,
Sherlock
Patrick Stewart.
Holmes.
He showed up, and that was such a kind gift. And you can join that really, really cool group there, over there, and talk to them and all kinds of things. And over the Patreon, we're going to announce there's some changes coming to the Patreon. There's some changes coming to the podcast due to my new job. Things going to be changing, and just go check it out, all the stuff over there. But, with all the changes and all the things, I just got to say that, it's amazing that we would have never got to episode 2 without your support. So I just want to say thank you for all the years of listening and all the years of kindness and all the years of actually thinking that we're interesting.
Someone has to.
Someone has to.
Someone has to.
Because, sad to say that after episode 250, my mom no longer listens to this podcast. She listened to her episode, and then she said I was done.
My mom has not listened to a single episode of this podcast.
This episode is peaked. Intern Cat Brago, podcast intern Cat Brago, just re-entered the studio right here, doing a big O stretch. If he comes over to Ashley, I was going to say, maybe show him to the live stream listeners, but I don't know if he's going to make an appearance because he's an intern cat that does nothing. Let's see if intern podcast cat. Nope, he's going away.
He's going under our feet again.
Just like an intern, he doesn't do anything. What good is he? So, Ashley, is there anything you want to say to the listeners before we cap off episode 500?
Is that the end of the question?
Period. I've done 500 of these episodes here, and you think I would know how to segue. I don't. I still don't.
I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, because a lot of people tell us that we are their friends and their companions, whether they're working or when people have like little children, when they're in school or when they're working out and stuff like that. And you are very much our friends as well, and you're hugely influential in everything that we do on GHL. Like every win for us is a win for all of you because this is a community of people. And, you know, mind your P's and Q's because we know who you are. I met some very nice people at C2E2 for the first time. Shout out to Corey Burton, who I know was here earlier in the chat. And I recognize him just from his username and his little Twitter icon. So we see you, we love you, we appreciate you, and thank you for being our friends as well.
And we're following you home.
We're following you
We
home.
know where you have been sleeping. We know when you've been awake.
I like your shower curtain.
We know when you have your AirPods in. So you better listen to us for goodness sake.
Oh, there's David. I also met David in Chicago.
Oh, David Corey here, who gave us a super sticker. That's so nice.
Yes,
David
we
Cozy.
took a great picture together.
David Cozy. So thank you so much for 10 years, 500 episodes, and dear God, so too many hours of our voices. Just so, you know, like, to be honest with you, at this point, we should just make episode 501 of Geek History Lesson just full AI, because there is enough of our vocal patterns out on the internet for Skynet to just run away with this podcast and steal it. We're never going to do that, but, you know.
I would love to know, though, what it would think our podcast is about. Superman, Robin. No, we're not.
No,
doing
I was like,
it.
we're going to pull this up. We're going to try.
Absolutely not.
Don't forget, everybody, for a limited time, for only the next 30 days, Ashley, show that poster. We have this amazing, Brian Lopez did this amazing 500th episode.
Frequent collaborator.
And anniversary, Days of Future Past style Geek History Lesson poster. It's 11 by 17 inches. Has so many cameos to the past of our show. Diego Anthony Nunez is on there. Tex Willerman is on there. Ashley is on there with intern Cat Brago. I have a nice fuzzy jacket. And it'll only be available at jasoninman.com/store for like the next month or so, or whenever I decide to turn it off. But it's not going to be around forever because we're not printing that many of them. So get on it. Get to it, as they would say. Wow. You know, episode 500, I think, I don't know what else I could say, Ashley.
Okay.
Okay. You know, that just tells me that. Why did you put on? What do you now? Ashley's got a control time board.
I'm hilarious.
Made you laugh. Well, now it was so loud, I was thrown off. Turn the volume down, for God's sake. Ashley's just doing sound effects now. That's the podcast. I was going to say before then that now, Ashley, you know, I think that's now we know how that's how the podcast is going to end. That I'm just going to be like, you know, what else is there to say?
Not with a bang, but with a crowd of
and you just
laughter.
Going, okay.
Yes, and baby, yes, and
everyone, it's so much. Thank you so much for listening to 500 episodes
of this nonsense.
Actually, 537, I think was the real number. 500 episodes of Geek History Lesson. I'm Jason Inman.
I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson.
We may or may not return for 501. No, we're going to return for 501. Just relax. We just settle down.
We have one in the can, so you're at least getting one more.
We do have one in the can.
One in the can.
Which might actually be like episode 508.
Yeah.
It should be 501, but it's not going to be. It's just the way it's going to work out. Just deal with it, okay? Just deal with it. Although it probably should come out next week, actually.
To be timely, it would come.
You might get 3 episodes of Geek History Lesson in very quick succession, and then we're going to take like 3 weeks off because you're going to be like, you got too many. But anyways, thank you for listening to some number of Geek History Lessons. I'm Jason Inman.
I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson.
And Professor Ashley, will you please close out this podcast?
Class is now dismissed.